Hello everyone and welcome back to Fresno State Esports. My name is Spencer Beair, aka Bearman. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fresno State Esports. My name is Spencer Beair, aka Bearman. Izzy will though. Oh, and the concuss wasn't enough to stop the Bucky, the one-shot wonder.
If you're a civil engineering major, you can play some Jenga. If you're a criminology major, you might want to be playing some Clue. Or if you're an English major, you can play some Scrabble and wipe the board. If you were to get a soda like this one, which I got at that vending machine back there, every 2 hours of the working day, that would amount to being 4 of these. I spoke to director Diego Sosa about the upcoming play these students are working so hard to help create. There are always fun activities happening around campus, like this week. It's Commuter Appreciation Week, hosted by the Off-Campus Student Life Program.
Spencer Beair is over at the RSU to tell us more about what we can look forward to this weekend. Spencer?
Thanks, guys. Vintage Days is the biggest event of the year at Fresno State, but this year the concerts, one of the biggest parts of the weekend, will look a little different.
Vintage Days has brought the Fresno State community together for over 5 decades, and one of the biggest draws of this 3-day festival is the concerts. Joshua Bravo is the concert coordinator for the Vintage Days Concert Committee. In that role, he helped choose which bands would be performing, a process that also determined how long those bands would be playing.
With Vintage Days, it's not like, you know, you go to a concert and you have an opener and then you have the big act and they can kind of take as long as they want. With us, it's like down to the minute.
To keep the show on pace down to the minute, committee staff like Bravo assist the performers in getting on and off the concert stage. Michael Bonner has been the staff advisor to the concert committee for the last 3 years. When he was in college, he performed in Vintage Days. Now, he helps to keep the event running smooth.
We want to have variety at Vintage Days, and we want to have talented performers at Vintage Days. We also want to give opportunities to student performers that don't always get that opportunity to perform. Maybe they're a new band.
There will be 27 performances at this year's Vintage Days. Last year, there was 33. However, there will be no concerts past 6 p.m. this year, unlike last year where some of the performances ran until 10 p.m. But that isn't the only difference between this year and last year.
I might look pretty far away right now, and that's because my camera is underneath where the shade structure is going to be for this upcoming Vintage Days. For the past few years, the Vintage Days concert stage has been over here, off-centered from the shade structure. But this year, Michael told me the stage is going to be placed around this area in front of this light pole. That means audiences can take a seat in the shade structure and have a more direct line of sight onto the performances.
But for Fresno State, Vintage Days is so much more than just a weekend of concerts.
Look, Vintage Days is like the fair. It's the biggest thing we do on campus. So if you don't go, you're missing out on the most obvious thing you could participate in. And one of them is on a school day. So to me, it's unless you're out of town or you're ill, there's kind of no excuse to miss Vintage Days.
Now switching gears from concerts to cosplay, Anime Gaming Con is back at Fresno State right here in the Reese Ballroom. I'm here with Wendy Torres. Wendy, can you explain your role in Anime Gaming Con?
Yes, so I am the Anime Gaming Con chair. So my job is to be the bridge between our coordinator for Vintage Days and our partnership with Anime Gaming Con, communicating between what we need for the event, how many vendors, stuff like that.
And is this event free for everyone?
Yes, it is free for everybody to come. So
yeah, and can you show us around the room just a little bit, just so we have an idea what's going on?
yeah, so on that section, we're gonna have our voice actors. And this table over here, we're gonna have all of our gaming consoles. Back here, we're gonna have our tabletop games. We'll test like critical thinking skills. Over there, we're gonna have our cosplayer guests. And then back there is where we're gonna have all our vendors.
All right, fantastic. And then, yeah, just one last question. I know when I was here last year, the Charizard displacers are some of my favorite things to look at, and I almost considered buying one. They're really expensive, though. What items are you looking to buy at this year from these vendors?
Probably Funko Pops. I love collecting anime Funko Pops, so I think I'm most excited for that.
That's a great choice. All right, my name is Spencer Beair here live at the Resnick Student Union, Fresno State Focus.